Without further ado, everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time.
I haven't had a lot of my soup today. Last week made the huge mistake of going with the lentil, you'll recall.
I don't know how many times I said, how can you do these lentils?
Yeah. At around 9 p.m., I was like, you know what? Frank was onto something.
In beautiful New York City, it's On the Nose. And now,
this is one of the most exciting starts to the segment of all time.
Yeah,
because here he is.
It's just
we're just watching you eat soup while the music plays in the back.
the wheel just stopped at me having soup.
The switcher stopped switching.
Have you ever seen the? You've of course seen the Seinfeld episode where they go get the soup.
Yes.
No soup for you. You want bread? $3. All right, here we go. Shout out to the great Louis Gilmore, who's our new moderator. It's official, by the way. He writes, many good questions. This was tough to trim down. Usual mix of fight talk, judging and scoring, crew engagement, social behaviors, travel and food. Bonus questions slide 22 and onwards. Wow. All right, here we go, guys. Hope you're ready. We're kicking things off with Elon Berger. All right, here we go. Hey, Ariel, I've got a few questions this week, so here goes. Why is Ortega Rodriguez not happening in Mexico or at least Southern California? I feel like a goal of the UFC's for a long time has been expanding the Mexican fan base, and this would have been a perfect opportunity. The matchmaking here is great, but completely fumbled the bag on the location, in my opinion. I agree. Latest that I'm hearing is that's going to be in Long Island. I honestly don't have. I mean, there's been a few. Look at the past year, and Ngannou Gan was in the wrong spot. Whitaker Adesanya was in the wrong spot. Masvidal Colby was in the wrong spot. So this one, not even as egregious as those. In terms of Aljo's next defense, he writes, does Dillashaw really sell more than Aldo? Aldo has more than one win in the last 3 years, and I imagine certainly sells more internationally, if not the U.S. as well. And he's the greatest 45er of all time. Is there a better storyline than that, or am I missing something? No, I would be down. I agree with you on this one. Finally, I'm certainly not against open scoring, but it sure seems like the real issue is the scoring system. Why don't we score fights from 10-10 to 10-5 or even a bigger range? The first round of Rose Carla 2 and the second round of Aljo Yan 2 being scored the same is ridiculous. I hear people saying that, but I mean, there's got to be, it's like, yes, I hear people saying that, but, 48-47 for one fight could be different than the other. You hear this in other sports too, like, yeah, that was a 5-point win for the Bucks, but it was really a lot more dominant than that. I mean, that's a hard thing to correct, but I hear that. He continues, the first round of Rose Carla 2 and the second round of Aljo Yan 2 being scored the same is ridiculous. How does the scoring system hypothetically change? What's the process for that? I mean, that's a massive, massive, massive process. It involves the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commissions. Sorry for the lengthy question. He writes, lots of ahava, which is love, to the mishpacha, which is family in Hebrew. Again, I reiterate, I don't believe that open scoring will fix judging. I just think that it is a bridge to get us to better judging because there'll be more of a focus on it while the fights are going on as opposed to the 1 minute after a fight and then we have to move on to the next fight. Yes, I know that it lingers when it's a main event or it's a high profile fight, but I do think that it would put a greater spotlight on judging. And I do think things like what they're doing in California, these sort of get-together seminars, I do think things that what the UFC is putting together next month, these all go a very long way. I do think that when they made the changes in 2017 to the rules, the unified rules, I don't think enough time was put into educating everyone involved. Commentators, judges, referees, fighters, corners, etc. So hopefully we're getting there. Taco Enthusiast. Hi, Ariel. I love the open scoring idea, but I don't see a big promotion moving forward with it anytime soon. Remember, the commission has to be on board and then the promotion. Now, I guess the promotion could say, hey, Nevada, would you be open to it? Just like I went to Foster today and said, would you be open to it? So I guess that could happen, but it's really a commission thing, unless it's overseas. However, an alternative idea I've thought about is simple, easy to implement. I'd love to get your thoughts on it while the powers that be ruminate on open scoring for 20 years. That is true. They're very slow. 5 judges instead of 3, increasing your sample size essentially. In addition to the scorecards at the end of the fight, require judges to provide commentary cards that explain their decision in each round. Yes, but I mean, there's not a lot of time to do that. It's a minute between rounds, and then you want them focusing on the round. Then make these commentary cards public along with the scorecards. Thoughts, much love, brother. I mean, yeah, but again, after the fact, it would be nice to understand where they were coming from. During the fight, I think that would be tough. 5 instead of 3 has been discussed. 3 outside, like in the back, in an empty room has been discussed. I don't really think it's the 3 that's the problem. And I really don't think that the 5 or moving them out of the arena is the problem or the solution. I honestly don't think, I think scoring, it's just a very subjective thing. And it will always be a subjective thing. And guess what? Until the end of time, MMA is going to be controversial when it comes to scoring because it isn't ultimately being scored or judged by defined moments, right? A basket happening, a touchdown happening, a goal happening, etc. A lot of it is subjective. I don't love the way the current rules are written. The criteria is written, I should say. I don't love it because this idea of damage is really subjective. Sometimes it's super easy, but oftentimes it's like, all right, well, how do you truly know which blow was the more damaging one and all this stuff? Could be 100 significant strikes. The other guy could have 50 significant strikes, but those significant strikes could have been more damaging than the 100. It's all very confusing. Hola, Ariel. Quick and simple this week. This is from El Cubano. What do you think of the back and forth between Kayla Harrison's manager, Ali, and MMA legend Cris Cyborg? Do you think we will ever get that fight? And if so, under what promotion? Viva Helwani. Lewis, as always, kind enough to provide some context to the questions, which I appreciate tremendously. I don't ask him to do, but he is the man. At the end of the day, listen, this is the quote from Ali to MMA Junkie. At the end of the day, listen, everyone is using Kayla's name to promote themselves. Abdelaziz told MMA Junkie, I have no interest in this fight. Kayla will fight anybody. I don't care about promoters, managers, reporters. They all talk about Kayla and Cyborg. Listen, at the end of the day, I don't really care about this fight. You said that already. This fight will probably never happen. And if this fight happens, nobody gives a shit. That's my opinion. What? Nobody gives a shit. Because Kayla's Kayla. She's an undefeated. She's the best fighter in the world, female fighter in the world. And in my opinion, a pound for pound great right now. Agree with that. She doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. Fine. Although Kayla's the one advocating for this fight. Cyborg needs her. She doesn't need Cyborg. I don't know about that. I would say that Cyborg could retire right now and she'd go down as an all-time great. If she beats Kayla, it would be tremendous, but I don't necessarily agree with that. She's making 6 figures, 7 figures every fight. She's happy she's going to beat whoever they give her. All right, fine. Number one, I don't agree that no one cares about the fight. I don't agree that Kayla doesn't want the fight because she's the one out there campaigning for it. In fact, I would say Kayla is doing more of that than Cyborg. And so much so that Kayla actually agreed to go to Bellator to fight her in her first fight in Bellator because she wanted that fight so bad. I have like minutes upon minutes of footage on this show of Kayla saying she wanted that fight. So now it feels like he is contradicting her. Who's using Kayla's name? Promoters, managers, reporters. I mean, I don't see Coker talking about Kayla too much. And to the best of my knowledge, Ali was the one that set up the meeting between Coker and Kayla. I mean, this is just one big contradictory statement. I think what he's trying to do is play like the cool manager, promoter guy who's saying like, we don't need it and we're going to move on. But I don't think it was very effective. Here's the tweet from Cyborg. Quote, highest paid female fighter in MMA in any organization. You make a percentage of her fight purse, and even you wouldn't spend $70 on a pay-per-view headline by her. It sounds like PFL MMA overpaid, but I understand wanting to protect her. I mean, I just wish we would see the fight, and Cyborg is... You're telling me that you would rather see Kayla versus one of these nameless lightweights than Kayla versus Cyborg? What? Who in their right mind would say that? Hopefully we get to see it, but I don't know. Hey, Ariel, could you give your take on the Sasha Naomi situation? GC Mbappe fumbled the bag, choosing money over glory, staying with PSG. That's weird. It's from Hugo Knows. He just went from a wrestling question to a soccer question. Or maybe it was just a comment.
Yeah, it felt like more of a soccer statement. Though I'm happy Mbappe's staying.
You're a fan?
Oh, love Mbappe, love PSG.
That's your squad?
Not officially, but I like them. I'm going to go tour the stadium when I'm in France.
Oh, yeah. Great squad. Never met him. Didn't he get like some crazy number, like 400, 500, 600 million?
Yeah, stupid money. But he said he was going to go to
Real Madrid. Right, yeah. By the way, I don't know if you ever listen. Are you a big soccer fan? We don't really talk about soccer.
I wouldn't say big, but I enjoy it. Champions League this weekend.
Yeah, it's great. I really love the Men in Blazers podcast. I don't know if you listen to that, but I'm a big fan of Roger Bennett.
I know of it.
The way he speaks about football, soccer, amazing. And this past Sunday was amazing with Man City.
Oh, yeah, Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to place a bet on the Champions League.
Oh, well, you could have mentioned that.
I haven't decided who I'm going with.
All right. Sasha Naomi. Not sure if you're familiar with this one. Very interesting situation. They win the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania. In fact, I spoke to them backstage. Very nice moment. Sasha Banks crying. Naomi emotional. And then I guess they were supposed to be in like some sort of like 6-woman match, and they didn't like the creative for it. So they went to the office of one of the head guys, I think it was John Laurinaitis, and gave him their titles and said, we're out. And so this became a huge thing. Great reporter named Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has done a lot of reporting on this. Check him out. You probably do already. He's really great at his job. And I have a few thoughts on it. Number one, I thought the press release that WWE put out when they first walked out was very strange because it was very detailed. It's like, hey, you got 8 hours. It was very strange. Like, check out this press release. The way it was written was very un-WWE-like. And by the way, I'm not getting to the idea that this is a work. In my opinion, this ain't a work. It's not a work, and it's kind of annoying that everyone keeps saying it's a work, but here, I just want to read this real quick. May 17th, official statement on Sasha Banks and Naomi. When Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived at the arena this afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's Monday Night Raw. During the broadcast, they walked into WWE Head of Talent Relations John Laurinaitis' office with their suitcases in hand, placed their tag team championships on the desk, and walked out. Okay. Now, it continues. They claimed they weren't respected enough as tag team champions. And even though they had, this is the part that gets really weird to me, even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match, they claimed they were uncomfortable in the ring with 2 of their opponents, even though they had matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live TV show whose characters are expected to perform the requirements of their contracts. We regret we were unable to deliver an as advertised tonight's main event. Did all that stuff about the 8 hours and the scripted, did all that have to be said? I don't know. Felt like a lot. Felt a little TMI, sort of like my story earlier about my blown out wheel. In any event, so you see that, and then you see the way they responded on Friday, and, you know, Michael Cole's going to bury them a little bit. I actually spoke to Lance Storm in an interview that's coming out later, and he explained this really well. Like, the promotion, the organization has always been viewed as the bad guy, right? Vince, bad guy. Powers that be, bad guy. The Stooges, bad guys. Like, they're always kind of, so Michael Cole kind of quote unquote burying them, I know has upset a lot of people. I wouldn't read too much into that. McAfee was hilarious in that moment. My general feeling on all of this is meh. And really, this has nothing to do with how I feel about Sasha, who I've said on the record in this chair, in this segment, maybe my worst interview ever when I talked to her in November, just because she was kayfabing me the whole time, and it was just like not in the most pleasant type of way. Anyone who is claiming out there, first of all, we don't know the whole story. Number 2, no one cares about the women's tag titles, not because they're not important, not because they shouldn't be cared about. They just haven't done a good job of making us care about them. The tag team division in the WWE, in the women's division, is all just a bunch of thrown together tag teams. They're all single stars that are thrown together. Sasha and Naomi, Liv Morgan, and I can't believe Rhea Ripley. It's all just thrown together single stars. So there's no Usos, there's no New Day, there's no actual divisions there teams in the division that people really care about. It all feels very cobbled together. Now, losing them as single stars is somewhat of a blow, but to me, this isn't Stone Cold walking out and them saying he took his ball and went home. This isn't Bret Hart getting screwed in 97 and all that stuff. It just doesn't feel that big to me. And I know everyone wants it to feel big, and I know everyone wants to be all up in arms about everything, especially when you don't know the whole story. They haven't talked about it. It just doesn't feel all that big to me. I'm sorry. And it's because that division doesn't really matter. If Roman Reigns walked out, it's a big deal. So if you're asking me my opinion, I kind of want to see where it goes. I do feel like it's really salvageable. Golly, if they figured this out and brought them back, there'll be huge names. That pop will be great when they come back. They'll be super baby faces. Maybe they could turn on the crowd and say, "You're the reason why no one cares about these titles, and you didn't have our backs," and blah, 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 and then they become bad guys. There's something that can now happen to make people feel emotionally invested, but the whole division feels like it's just kind of thrown together, cobbled together. But I feel like this stuff probably happens more than we know in pro wrestling, where people don't like things and they had a thing that they could drop on a table and quote unquote walk out. I feel like people don't care about this division so much. And again, this is not necessarily a knock on them as performers. They're very, very talented. It's more about how the division has been handled and booked. But I bet if no one even knew that this happened and they were off TV for the last 2 weeks, people would be like, "Oh, why haven't they defended the belts on TV? Oh, it's only been, 8 days since this happened?" That's how irrelevant those belts are. So it's hard to get all up in arms about, "Oh no, there's no women's tag team champions." Well, they haven't made us care about the women's tag team champions. And maybe that's the crux of their issue. Maybe that's why they're ultimately upset. I don't know if I've given you the answer that you're looking for here, but I feel like it's a fluid situation. It's a developing situation, and I don't know. Sasha Banks, not my favorite. Didn't love the vibes. And does that have anything to do with it? I don't know. Naomi seemed lovely, though. Unfortunate, but I feel like it's salvageable. Bring them back. Huge stars. Tyson Kane, good day, Ariel. If you could commission a movie or a television series on a legendary fighter to tell their story, who would you pick? My pick might be cheating and covering the Big Nog, Fedor, Crow Cop triumvirate of Pride heavyweights at their peak. If you could commission a movie or television series on a legendary fighter to tell their story, who would you pick? Man, there's a lot there. Legendary fighter? I mean, there's so many. Chuck Liddell, Mark Coleman, Don Fry, DC, John Jones, BJ Penn. Picking one? Crow Cop would be an interesting one. Big Nog would be. Your choice is great, but that's about more of an era, a time. I don't know if I could pick just one. I might go with DC. Sorry. Does that not suffice? I don't know. Just with the Olympics and everything that he's been through as a kid. Hi, Ariel. This is from David. I recently contracted COVID. I'm sorry to hear that. So I took some time to watch some classic MMA bangers like Hendo Shogun from 139, Frankie Maynard 2. What are some other pre-McGregor era fights that hold up today and are worth a watch? Man, Jones Gustafson won as pre-McGregor. That's probably the best fight in UFC history. Sanchez, Guida is a great one. Some of those Pride events back in the day, all great ones. I mean, the Chuck, Tito, Randy, Chuck, Randy triumvirate was great. BJ Penn, Matt Hughes was great. GSP Hughes, those three fights were great. Sarah, GSP, 1, 2 was obviously a lot more one-sided, but that was great as well. I mean, Anderson bursting on the UFC scene was a lot of fun against Rich Franklin, even though those were one-sided. Crow Cop getting knocked out by Gabriel Gonzaga was wild. BJ's run when he came back as a 55er, there was a period there, and I've said this before. BJ's run, he comes back, Ultimate Fighter, Jens Pulver, fights Sean Shirk, Joe Stevenson, Diego Sanchez. That run before the GSP fight was a weird anomaly. He moved up to 70. And then after the GSP fight, UFC 101, Kenny Florian, UFC 107, Diego Sanchez loses to Frankie Edgar 112 up until Abu Dhabi. So from that Pulver fight up into GSP and then post, all those fights were amazing. And I believed in my heart that he was the best fighter on the planet. Best fighter on the planet. In particular, post GSP fight. And I know you could say, well, how could he be the best pound for pound if he just lost moving up to 170? But I just think at 55, no one was as dominant and more fun to watch than him in that moment. All great fights, all great moments. Max, 83. Hello, Ariel. After the infamous UFC 199 incident, my question is, if you ran into Brock at one of the wrestling events you worked on, and what is the status of your relationship with him? Greetings from Germany, my man. Greetings to you as well. I have not seen Brock at any of these events. I was backstage at Royal Rumble in St. Louis. I saw him from afar. I don't think he saw me. And I would like to think that, like, again, the beef, I don't think was with Brock. I don't think Brock cared, although he did kind of bury me when he was on SportsCenter that Monday. I remember I was sitting in the studio, our old studio, and he's on with Hannah Storm to announce that he's fighting Mark Hunt. And credit to Hannah Storm. I couldn't believe it. She asked him about it, and he said that he didn't know me. He said he never met me before. Meanwhile, I've talked to him face to face multiple times. Now, I know you could say, like, oh, okay, he doesn't remember everyone talking to. I felt like he knew me. We had some moments. We had mutual friends. Couldn't care less. But I don't think that he would hold that grudge against me. I don't think that he was the one that was upset about it, even though it was said to me that I almost ruined the deal, which I don't believe for a second. So if I saw him, I would say hello to him, but I have not seen him. Adrian, dear Ariel, greetings once again from London, Ontario, Canada. Oh, here we go. My question relates to the failed dinner attempt between Mysterious Frank and Yoon that was discussed last week. Wow, you guys ready for this? We learned that, 1, last time they had dinner plans, Frank almost certainly lied about his wife being sick so that he could cancel last minute. True or false, Frank?
False.
2, this time around, Yoon texted Frank a map that showed she was going to the wrong restaurant. Inexplicably, he confirmed this location and sent her to the wrong restaurant on the other side of town. True or false?
False.
3, there was a delay in Yoon realizing that she was at the wrong restaurant because Frank was somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes late to dinner. True or false?
Also false.
4, although Frank attempted to make amends by buying Yoon lunch the next day, she somehow ended up paying for her coffee. True or false?
That part's true.
A truly fascinating sequence of events. My question to you is, if you were Yoon, how long would it take for you to make peace with Frank after this? I estimate it would take me 5 to 7 weeks, but I am curious to hear from all of you, including Frank. As always, appreciate your valuable insights. Sincerely, Adrian. Wow. Now, here's the thing. If all the things that he wrote were true, I would agree, maybe even longer than 5 to 7. I forgive, but I very rarely forget. I have been known to hold on to a grudge or two. I will be able to move on and we'll be friends to a degree, but I'll keep it in the back of my mind. But now here's the issue. Frank is saying 3 out of these 4 items are false.
No, that's not true.
Oh, you're actually agreeing, Yoon.
So second one is like, I didn't talk to him. I show the pictures and maps in person. So it's way worse, right?
I think that's way worse. So wait, number 1, last time you had dinner plans, Frank lied about his wife being sick so that he could cancel last minute. Is that true in your opinion?
I'm not sure it's lie or not, so 50-50.
Okay. Number 2, this time around, you texted Frank a map. You're saying you actually showed him the map
Yes, that's
in
true.
person.
In person.
Hands on the faders, mixing the show. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks great.
Wow.
No, it was not during the show. It was like 10:30 a.m.
Wow. On a Wednesday?
Yes.
During the
it was
preparation
meant-
for the
I
show.
don't know, maybe
Now, number
Monday.
3, there was the delay in Yoon realizing that she was at the wrong restaurant because Frank was somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes late.
That's true.
However, my wife was there, ready to go.
Wow.
Frank.
My,
Now I'm questioning you, who just told me false to a bunch of things that are actually true. So I feel like the big question goes to you, Yoon. I mean, have you made peace with Frank?
I mean, Frank forced me to say yes.
Wow, Frank, what kind of operation are
a
you running
nod
back
of the
there?
head is not a forcing of telling someone
Wow.
to say yes.
Yoon, are you willing to make dinner plans with Frank once again in the foreseeable future?
So, I mean, he made already 2 strike, but
Wow. So you're giving him one more chance.
one more chance.
Frank, how do you feel about this one more chance?
I'll take it. Yeah, it's fine.
Do you feel a lot of pressure to not let her down?
No, I mean, I think those are just, coincidental.
Do you feel any remorse over this miscommunication?
I did when I realized that there was a miscommunication, and then I immediately made amends to it.
But because of the lunch
It's like it's
buying?
already over with. No, I mean, like, once we established we were at 2 wrong restaurants and we weren't going to be together, it's like, next time.
Now, Yoon, why did you buy Frank a coffee after all of this?
I just wanted to have coffee, and then he was there, so I'm like, I just want to be a nice person.
Now, Frank, given this circumstance, why not buy the coffee as well?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Why didn't you buy the coffee as well as the lunch?
I mean, that's a little excessive.
That's
It's
too
just
much,
bought
yeah.
lunch. It's like I was late. Come on. Went to the wrong restaurant. That's on you.
Are you putting him in timeout, Yoon, for 5 to 7 weeks before you make plans again, or are you willing to do so whenever he invites you, if it's tomorrow, next week, etc.?
I mean, Frank invited me on his birthday, but I don't think I can make it, and then he keeps saying I'm kind of late.
What do you mean you're kind of late? Late with the reply?
No, lame.
Oh, lame. Oh, gosh. So, Frank, you invited her to your birthday, which is something you'd have to show up for, presumably on time.
Yeah, I would be there. Yeah.
GC, did you get invited to Frank's birthday?
Yeah, the errant text during the show on Monday, which I guess extended the invitation to you accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Oh, is that what happened? To let everyone know, I get a text in the middle of the show. Who was on at 3 o'clock on, I don't remember. It was someone important. Oh, was it Glover? Anyway, Frank invites Connor and I to his birthday party in the middle of the show. I mean, it's like, are you hoping that we don't reply? I mean, what's going on,
I then changed the course of communication. I go on Slack and asked Frank if he meant to send the text.
So here's
He
the
did
question that I'm now wondering. Sometimes you have like text threads, you mean it to go to one person, it goes to both because of the thread. Was that supposed to be just for Connor, and by mistake you invited me as well?
I don't have to answer that.
Wow.
Or vice versa. Was it meant for you and I got
There's
out
no
of it?
chance it was meant for me and not you. I mean, you've already established a relationship outside of the studio. You've had
Tacos.
dip. Yeah, you were there. Was NewYorkRIc invited?
Yeah, he just hasn't replied yet.
Wow. That was me trying to see if he's actually here.
He's nowhere to be found.
It was I mean, can I just say he called me a punk on Slack? Is that, appropriate?
That's
I don't
endearing.
know. Felt a little.
He's really
Aggressive.
dug the heels into anti-open scoring.
I don't know if you know this about NewYorkRIc. The more he's wrong, the more he digs in. I.e., Ronda Rousey comeback fighter of the year. Have you heard this? 2016?
No.
Fighter of the year? What? Oh, he's saying not invited. I thought he meant not invited to the segment. He was not invited to your birthday.
You might check his spam folder.
Wow. In text?
Yeah, they got that.
Tip. Hey, Ariel, with Eagle FC having a 165-pound division, it had me thinking, if the UFC implemented new divisions such as 65 and something in between 205 and heavyweight, do you think this could negate the importance of belts? Nah. It allows multiple fighters to have an easier path to champ status and actually defend, unlike McGregor, and the possibility of belts not meaning so much. Nah, it's just, I mean, what are we talking about? One more? There's interim titles up the wazoo. I'd like to see 55, 65, 75, 85, and then you could go to 205 if you want. There's not a ton of 95 up there, so that's what I would do. Newman. Hello, Ariel. Hello, Newman. I want to move to Canada. Can you tell me about living in the Great White North and where I should move? Well, Montreal is a fantastic city. There is universal health care. There are lovely people living there. Not only in Montreal, of course, but the entire country, the Great White North. I would say your top three choices are going to be, in no particular order, Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. If you want the closest thing to the United States, you'll go to Toronto. If you want the closest thing to Europe, you'll go to Montreal. And if you're a West Coast kind of guy and you want your great skiing and your West Coast living, a little less snow, a little more rain, you'll go to Vancouver. You can't go wrong with any of them. And then, of course, you have the Maritimes, which are beautiful. You have Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick. I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these. But I would whittle it down to those three main cities, and I would rank them Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. And yes, you should move there. Wow, Nico. Okay, buckle up. Ça va, Ariel? Last Saturday, I took my girlfriend on a walk across the Brooklyn Bridge with plans of proposing to her. It was absolutely nerve-wracking. I wanted to go nice and early to avoid large crowds, but she didn't feel the need to rush, as she had no idea what my plan was. Once we got there at around noon, not only was the bridge packed with tourists, it was boiling hot. Yes, that is true. Last Saturday was boiling hot. This was made worse by the fact that I was wearing a jacket in order to hide the ring in the side pocket, as keeping it in my tight Schaub-S jean pocket would have been too easy to see for her and ruin the surprise. As we walked across the bridge towards Brooklyn, I got more and more nervous, profusely sweating, desperately trying to identify a good spot to get on my knee and break out the box to propose, all while trying to act normal. With every step, I felt the pressure increasing and my plan falling apart. And my girlfriend was beginning to get bored to the point where she asked if I would mind if she listened to some music on her headphones. Wow. Since I wasn't talking much anyways, and she wanted to enjoy the walk, as you can see, things were not going to plan. Contrary to the cool, calm, and collected version of myself I always thought I would be in this important moment in my life, I was an absolute nervous mess. He continues. Finally, towards the very end of the bridge, I said to hell with it, got down on one knee and opened the box. My girlfriend started screaming, gave me a hug, and cried while laughing at the same time. I put a ring on it, as the kids say, and we went to a bar in Dumbo to celebrate. I cannot explain the relief I felt in that moment, not only of having avoided a choke job of epic, dare I say, Miami Heat 2011, sorry Cubano proportions, but also of finally being able to take off my jacket. As I was enjoying my alcoholic beverage, however, it dawned on me that I never actually asked her to marry me, since I just opened up a box without saying anything. This leaves me in an awkward spot now, as it's too late for me to now actually ask if she agreed to my proposal. This leads to my question, which is really a request. Since she will be shown this clip, can you just confirm with her that she does in fact agree to being the future Mrs. Suave? Her name is Edna. Thank you, Ariel, for doing this. Much appreciated. First of all, I have to say, Edna is a tremendous name. Someone who lived with us for years named Edna. We hold her near and dear to our heart, so well done on the name. Number two, well done on the story. Well done on reliving the story. I would say you worried for nothing. You should have just done it at the beginning and enjoyed the walk together as a newly engaged couple. I think you actually would have enjoyed that immensely, but that's neither here nor there. I think you were overthinking it and getting a little too nervous for God knows what reasons. You already had, I mean, let's be honest, most people, and there's the photo. Wow, look at this. GC had the photo ready to go. Thank you for that. Lewis hooked you up with the photo. There he is, the great Nico Suave. with his lovely Edna, proposing. Beautiful stuff. I love it. I think you were worrying about nothing. It was much ado about nothing. And I also think that more likely, than not, when you're about ready to propose to someone, they're going to say yes, right? I mean, very rarely is it a, I hope she says yes situation. If you're old school, you're going to ask the parents. They already know. You've talked about it a little bit. So what are you worried about? In the end, don't worry about it. Water under the bridge. I do want to ask Edna this question. Are you okay with marrying Nico, even though he didn't actually specifically state the question, will you marry me? Now, I think the universal sign for that question is the need, the box, the opening of it, all that stuff and more. So I feel like you know where he's coming from. But just in case, we could get it on the record, I would love to confirm for accuracy, will you marry Nico Suave? Please film this moment for us. Please send it in next week. We would love to be able to celebrate with all of you. Mazel tov. Mount Sinai, Mr. Helwani. The barrier to entry for MMA reffing and judging is steep. I have tried to get into it, and it is a type of club that feels like they want to keep the old guard around. My question is, how do we think we change this? Now, Lewis put these two questions together, so I'm going to read the... he actually tells me this guy is unbelievable. He tells me that I should read both before answering. How about that? Tsunami. Sup. Go Bills. Hashtag. My question is related to all MMA judging and some referee controversies. I looked into making a difference in trying to become an MMA judge/referee. However, where I looked, State Athletic Commission, some notable referees, even DMing some, there is little information, or if there is, it has not been updated in a while, as well as no response. I know I may never make it to the big shows, UFC, Bellator, PFL, but I would like to make an impact, even on a local, state, regional level. Knowledge and experience takes time, but there really isn't much out there. Any thoughts would be appreciated. Hashtag Bills by a billion. Well, I know John McCarthy has a course. Pretty sure Herb Dean has a course. I know Mark Goddard has a course. You can educate yourself that way. But in order to be able to be eligible to officiate in states, you have to pass whatever criteria that they have. I find it very, I've never myself, full transparency, tried to become a judge. I don't think that I could do that. I don't think it would actually be appropriate for me to do that, or referee. But I find it very surprising that you can't go on the California State Athletic Commission site. I wish I read this beforehand and figure out a way to try out or sign up or take a course. Have you tried that? Have you tried to go through the commissions themselves? All of them have websites. And have you tried to take the courses by those officials that I just mentioned to at least get your feet wet and understand what you're getting into? I would start there. Abe, great interview recently with Dan Hardy. He made a great point about Ngannou trying to make a stand for the fighters, none of his peers having his back, and then many signing lucrative deals. Was this a missed opportunity? What could have been the potential impact of someone like Izzy also taking the same stance as Francis and not signing that big deal? Could that have been enough to force the company to make meaningful changes for fighter pay? If not, what needs to be done? Massive question. The short answer is no. Anyone who thinks that even if Francis leaves the UFC, that is going to change the company or the way they do business, you're fooling yourself. It's going to take a lot more than just one person to change this. It's going to take collective effort. It's going to take a bunch of fighters either coming together or sitting out or going to the UFC together. It's going to take that. It's not going to take one guy fighting out his contract, champ or not. And by the way, it's not going to take one guy signing a long-term deal to change. Like I heard Izzy, I love Izzy. All the respect in the world for him. He's one of my favorites. Adore him. Honestly, I do. But I heard him say after he signed that this is going to bring about change. I'd love to know what that change is, or I'd love to know what he thinks that change is going to be. Because I don't see it. Now, slowly but surely, the pay has gone up. Slowly but surely. But it's nowhere near, in terms of the breakdown, guess what? The revenue has gone up as well in that same time. Exponentially, it had gone up.
Ariel, I have to jump in here. We have a late on-the-nose submission. I hate to impede on Louis Gilmore. The NewYorkRIc slander continues. He's just sent this over for us to play.
Who?
NewYorkRIc has sent this over.
He has sent us?
Yes, let's play it. Let's play it.
All right. I don't know what's going on here. I have never said that open scoring will fix judging or make judges better per se. Had we known in the heat of the battle, in real time, could have fixed it.
Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Chase is right.
I'm unconvinced.
Frank, we fixed judging. We fixed judging, baby.
And judging and open scoring, not the same thing.
I have never said that open scoring will fix judging. Frank, we fixed judging. We fixed judging, baby. This is your great evidence. This, me saying I fixed judging, clearly messing with everyone. Everyone who takes themselves so serious. Who submitted this?
NewYorkRIc himself submitted this.
You interrupted my great question about
I'm
Francis.
messenger. I'm simply a messenger.
And where is he to answer for this?
Long Island, Amityville. He's out in the Amityville.
Wait, is he on Zoom right now? This right here, what you just played, maybe the most pathetic piece of video that has ever been played on this site.
We're contacting Rick now to join. To
Contacting him? We've already established that it's an open invitation. He knows where we are when we're doing this. That's his great retort? I thought that he was going to play a clip of me saying, this is the definitive way to fix judging. Can you believe this, Frank? This guy twisting our words.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like, never mind.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't know what you're getting at. Everyone's losing their minds around here. Feels like Friday at 5.
I guess he's a no-show.
You know what you should have done with that? You should have swatted that away like Prime Dikembe Mutombo. That's what you should have done.
Great reference. Just the messenger.
Wow.
Not great internet out there in Amityville.
In any event, it's going to take a lot of guys coming together. It's going to take collective bargaining, which obviously means people coming together. It ain't, even if Izzy didn't sign. This thing is so far down the line, it's going to take a lot. And there have been attempts to bring the fighters together, and they have all failed. Again, as I've said, there's 4 tiers of fighters. There's the top 1% that like are so far away from all of this, they can't be bothered. There's the champions who are like, finally, I'm finally getting paid. You know, the Usmans of the world and whatnot. There's the guys who are contenders who are on the verge of getting paid, the Hamzats of the world, and they ain't going to rock the boat. And then you got the newbies who are like, I'm new here. I ain't going to rock the boat as well. I mean, as I've said before, I don't see this changing anytime soon. I hate to say it, but it feels like it's true. Trey, shalom. Here are some things we know about Mysterious Frank. Now, here's the thing. They're writing things about you, Frank. I know you're very private. I don't want to piss you off.
What does it say?
You want me to read this?
Let's get to it.
There's a picture of you, but it's all blurred out. I don't even know if it's actually of you.
Sounds accurate, though. My skin condition.
Married to Tracy.
Go on.
No kids.
Go on.
Prefers restaurant on the east side.
Lower East Side.
Has some gray hair, saw it myself. Interesting.
Who wrote this? I think they think Alex is me.
movie and food connoisseur.
Yeah.
Part-time DJ in Ohio.
Definitely not.
Unreliable friend.
Yeah, I could see that one.
Can probably down a bottle of Hennessy in one sitting.
Fair enough.
Secretly really enjoys his job in the crew.
Yes.
Funniest member of the MMA Hour.
Burn.
What else is important to know? Mysterious Frank cannot hide in the shadows forever. Also, Cubano adds, Mysterious Frank has that rare disease that makes your appearance look like it's all pixelated.
Yes, thank you for recognizing that.
Anything you want to add to that?
Well, one's not true. He's a part-time DJ, just not in Ohio.
What do you mean? He's a part-time DJ, just what? Oh, just not in
Just not in
Ohio.
Ohio,
Sorry,
not in Ohio. Yeah.
The Georgia accent came out there for a second. Is that true? Are you a part-time DJ?
Yes.
Wow. Where? Marquee?
Ohio.
Now I see NewYorkRIc tweeting out this clip. He thinks he actually got me with this clip. This is sad, guys.
He's angry at me for just being the messenger.
How's he angry at you?
He's saying I can have no more rides home now.
We have to give him credit on that one.
I was super clutch. Great car, Tesla.
Yeah, what was that like? How long was the drive?
40 minutes. Really had to.
What'd you
work
guys
in
talk
some
about?
Conversation. Anything and everything.
Did you feel like you're like, all right, I feel like we got it all here?
It was probably similar to you in the tow truck, Trevor.
That bad, huh?
No, I'm just kidding. He was fun.
Nicholas James has a beef with Frank. He says, I've been saying mysterious fraud.
Yeah, because of the whole merch thing. Which, where are we on that?
Yeah. GC, where are we on that?
On, did you say merch?
Yeah.
Things are in the works.
Cool, thanks.
We can circle back.
All right, let's circle back. Yeah, Luis, not Lewis, our moderator. Hi, Ariel. PFL announced last week that they will split half of their pay-per-view revenue with the fighters. This seems like a great idea in a vacuum, but they would need to sell enough pay-per-views for it to be a viable option for fighters to benefit financially. Yes. What steps do you think they would need to take to have some level of success with their pay-per-view events? I mean, they got a long way to go. I'm sorry to say, Bellator tried pay-per-view. It didn't work very well. They don't have the roster right now. They don't have the intriguing fights and matchups. And quite frankly, their model doesn't really lend itself to pay-per-view because ultimately the biggest pay-per-view events are going to be the one with the big grudge matches, the fascinating fights. The tournament model, whatever you want to call it, almost works counter to that. Are there any potential fights they could put together other than Kayla Cyborg that would get people to buy pay-per-view? Not really. Pettis Rory or something like that, but no. So like it's a nice idea, but honestly, I don't see it being very lucrative. I'm sorry. I will say before we get to the breaking news, I just want to say about PFL real quick. Cool that they're going to Cardiff, London. I like that they're expanding, getting out there. New York City as well. So kudos to them for that. Yes, what's the breaking news?
I'm sorry, we have a NewYorkRIc on the line for you.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, completely hijacking the segment here. Are you done? I mean, you can't possibly think that this clip that you have no doubt worked hours on is some sort of great retort to all of this, is it?
I think you don't understand what happened in that clip. It has nothing to do with like...
First of all, why can't you join via Zoom? Why are you on phone? Like a crappy speaker cell phone situation.
Okay, I'm hanging up. I literally said that this is exactly what would happen with Frank and Joe, and they're like, no, it's good. Every single time they screen the call, and then this happens.
No, but listen, are you on Zoom or phone right now?
I'm on my phone.
Why can't you join via Zoom?
Because every time I join via Zoom, then you complain about that too, and they screen it and say,
wow, you're getting real self-conscious around these parts, huh? Now, why'd you call me a punk? Was that not, I mean, that felt a little bit aggressive.
No, I mean, it's very clear what happened there. I sent you 2 messages. You chose which of the 2 to read, and then you do like a mock voice of everybody who has a different opinion than you. It's very clear why I called you a punk.
I'm doing a show here, all right? Things are coming in. I see one thing. I don't see the other. I can't, you know.
When I message, you drop everything. That's it. That's the truth. Now, what was happening in that video has nothing to do with like advocating for or against open scoring. I don't think you understood that. It was literally you pulling a Rick James and saying, I never said open scoring would solve judging, and then literally on Monday saying that open scoring solves judging. Like, literally said that on Monday.
You realize, I mean, I think you know when I'm joking. That was I mean, you really?
Now it's a joke.
Oh, this is crazy, Frank.
Now it's a joke.
And by the way, I stand by it in retrospect because we did fix judging.
How?
I'll tell you how. By actually presenting a good idea, other than, you know, you got these people out here who are like, no, nothing's going to happen. No point. It's all great. Read the bylines. Section 4.
Oh boy.
I'm actually...
I don't want to be involved in that one.
I'm actually coming out and bringing good ideas to put the spotlight on the judges so that the world knows how these fights are being scored in real time. And so, yes, I feel like...
And meanwhile, you just said you didn't say it. Now you're saying it again. Well, I'll make a new clip with this one.
You gotta be, please tell me are you
say it.
Are you watching the stream right now?
No.
You gotta watch the stream.
I love this.
Why? I am watching the stream. Oh, it just popped up. Because I'm slightly behind. Well played, Connor. Well played. Wait, now Ariel, do you know how old I am there?
First of all, you can never join via Zoom again. It always has to be this way with this. That was amazing. I'm going to say 13. You look a little post-pubescent.
Yeah, that's about right. However old you are freshman year of high school, what is that, like 14, 13?
High school? No, high school, you're way older than that. Isn't that 9th grade? 10th grade?
Yeah. No, wait. So, what
16.
are you, 15? Yeah,
15, 16.
15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
I was 15 because I'm an August birthday, so I start, like, my birthday had just passed when I start my school year. I was always, like, the youngest in the class.
where did you get that, Connor?
I posted it on IG.
Yeah, it's Rick's Instagram. I don't know how he hasn't blocked me yet. I constantly go there for photoshops and whatnot.
I can't hear Connor, so you're going to have to relay.
Oh, you can't hear him? That's
Probably
weird.
better that way.
No, I can't hear Connor.
Frank, what's going on?
That was an oversight.
Wow, we haven't thought of that one. He says he doesn't know how you haven't.
Of course he hasn't thought of that one. I mean, the sound guy who screens me every single episode, and then as soon as I get on, I get roasted. I literally
Go ahead and
go on
interrupt
the
him,
mic
Connor.
and ask him. I said, I'm not going to do this because the first thing that's going to happen is Ariel's going to complain about the audio. I don't want to do this. And then he's like, no, it's good. I'll send you to Frank. And these two, Tweedledee and Tweedledum over here, send me every single
Wow,
This guy is.
this is crazy. Frank, can you speak to Eric, or can he not hear you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What do you have to say about all of this?
I think it's
I
understandable.
can't hear.
Okay. I just got a text message. Well, actually, this is a very interesting text message. It's from a very important player in the world of MMA who would have a very strong say in the open scoring matter, and I feel like they are extending an invitation to me to really be the voice of change and all. I mean, we might be.
Ooh.
I can't. I don't want to say it right now, but I mean, this is pretty big. This is pretty big.
Is it breaking news?
Not yet. I mean, it could be completely unrelated, but I have a feeling it's not. All right. Well, this is good stuff. I mean, again, I feel like you're sort of taking things out of context, not very ethical on your part. But,
No, I mean, you say you never said it, and then there's literally video of you saying
yeah.
it. Very,
and you know what? I stand
James
by it.
Chappelle, Rick James.
I stand by it. We are fixing judging. Have you seen the show? By the way, yesterday was the Sports Emmy. Vox should submit today's episode for the Sports Emmy. The work that we are doing on the front lines here today, devoting all this time. Incredible. Yes.
Let me just say one thing.
Please.
Your statement that you are proposing something and there have not been ill effects is accurate.
Thank you.
On the other side, you must accept that there have been no notable effects either. So if just because something bad hasn't happened isn't a good reason to do something.
Wait a second.
And that's all.
There haven't been any notable effects because no one's doing it.
But you literally spoke to Shannon Knapp, who's doing it.
I'm talking about on the biggest stages. I'm talking about UFC belt.
People have done it.
Yeah.
There have been nothing.
Okay, and what did Shannon Knapp say? There have been no negative, only positive. Only fighters coming up being, I love that. So there you go. There's your positive.
The anecdotal information from the fighters is the positive?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's all about the fighters. This whole thing is about the fighters.
Well, that's where it gets dicey. Dicey.
What are you talking about?
Entertainment and the fighters.
Nah,
There's a
that's not-
combination of things.
That's a very selfish take. That's a very selfish take.
All right. Goodbye, Ariel.
Goodbye. Shooter McGavin. Hey, Ariel. Question for the whole team. I'm currently in college, and one of my favorite escapes from schoolwork is coming up with creative snack ideas that fit my college level budget. Some of my recent favorites have been hot sauce on a baguette. That's not bad. Hot sauce on a baguette. Just straight up like that? Wow. Never thought of that. Honey drizzled on potato chips. And if I have a little extra money, I love whipped cream / Cool Whip on Cocoa Puffs. What the hell? So my question for you guys is, what were your favorite snacks in college? Did you have any weird concoctions that you love like I do? If so, what were they? Wow, I feel like GC had a lot of them. He was a big frat guy.
I mean, I feel like adding like those things are unnecessary. Like I would like
Just have the potato chips.
yeah, just have the potato chips.
Just have
Honey.
the Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah, just have the. Now, does he do like a bed of whipped cream, Cool Whip, and then add the Cocoa Puffs to it? Like it's almost like a substitute for the milk?
I think it's just like a cheap dessert.
What about a hot sauce on a baguette?
That's good. Yeah.
Just straight up, nothing else?
But butter is like dirt cheap. Like you can add butter to it, toast it, and then maybe add some hot sauce.
That would be nice. I could see that.
Oh, I could get into that.
One thing that I've been really into lately, brown rice cake, peanut butter, honey.
Now we're talking.
That's nice, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great snack right there. Pretty affordable. I love top ramen. Sounds like what this guy's eating, though. He's probably puffing on some zooties before he eats.
Frank, anything to add?
Raw potato.
Yeah. Jamal, 1985. Oh, with this guy, I guess we answered this before. What's the best steak temperature? Obviously medium rare, but I'm sure GC likes it well done with ketchup with a Coke on the side. NewYorkRIc either eats it raw or eats it vegan beef. Jeez.
Wow, wild assumptions going on here.
By the way, GC likes it well done. Okay, fine. With ketchup, fine. Why the Coke on the side? Why is that a knock? Like I get the joke about the well done and the ketchup, but why the Coke? Is that a bad thing to have with steak?
I guess. I don't
know. We already answered it. Patrick, favorite segment of the week. 2 questions. How often do managers / promoters / fighters hit you up after the MMA Hour to talk about what was said on the show? Actually, quite often. We just had one right now. Please give me a call. So quite often. GC, if a couple of your MMA futures hit, mainly the Joanna plus 3,500, will there be wedding bells in your near future? Wow.
No. I'm not going to directly correlate getting married to my Joanna future hitting.
That is a weird connection to make.
Maybe I'll buy a Nintendo Switch. I've been eyeing a Nintendo Switch lately.
We're a Nintendo Switch family. We have one.
We could play online then.
I try to deter my kids from playing online, but we just downloaded FIFA. It's a great game.
Yeah.
What do we have? We have that. We have Minecraft, Animal Crossing.
I'm actually waiting on the UFC video game for GameCube to arrive at my house.
You have a GameCube?
Yeah, we've been over this.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
GameCube.
Wait, which one?
UFC, I think it's Takedown. I think it should be arriving.
Like old school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's Tito Ortiz on the cover.
Why do you do this?
I think it'll be fun. Made in 2002.
Yeah, it would be fun. I had the Pride one back in the day. I think it was 2002, 2003. Yeah, we have the Switch. It's fun, although it's a little bit annoying when you play it on the TV and you have like the little tiny remote thingies and you're like, like, what am I playing with here? But my kids like it. And my son, actually a big topic of debate has been Fortnite. I'm very much against Fortnite.
Oh, really? Battle Royale? You got Smash?
It's just too much, all this shooting and all this stuff.
You should get them, what is it, Splatoon, where they like paint instead of shoot.
Anyway, he keeps saying, can I play it when I'm 11? Can I play it when I'm 12, 13? I'm like, no, you're 18. How about that?
18. Y'all got Smash, Super Smash Bros?
Oh, yes, we have that.
No,
but that's different.
That's a GOAT game. That's a GOAT game.
Mario Kart, tremendous. But that's different. You know what's annoying? Oh, great game. WWE Battlegrounds, very, very fun. WWE 2K, whatever that just came out, 22, not on the Switch. What's up with that?
All right, so yeah, if Joanna hits, I'm buying a Switch.
Okay, but not getting engaged.
No.
Wow. Weird that he would make that connection.
Yeah.
This might be, by the way, your girlfriend disguised as Patrick
thinking about that. Yes.
Imagine Patrick, who I recognize because he always starts with favorite segment of the week.
Yeah.
Imagine this whole time it was your girlfriend. That would be weird. We should go back and look at his previous questions or his previous questions. Mellow Laffy, short and simple. Can we please have GC proved that he lived in hard-hitting New Britain? Name one Puerto Rican place to eat on Arch Street.
I don't go to Arch Street. Little Poland, though. I spent plenty of time there. I mean, I have my driver's license right here, and the city says New Britain. But I considered showing it on the air, but we're going to pass on that.
All right. Well, we believe you. Brett Kidman, our good friend Brett K, writes, is it true that NewYorkRIc wears sandals with socks? I mean, what is going on here? By the way, I was a big sandals with socks guy. I'm okay with it. Never understood the hate that it gets. Maybe it's because I eat my steak well done. College, you can catch me wearing high socks, not the short ones. I love the high socks. Like even right now, they're pretty high.
With the sandals, though, right?
With the
Sandals or slides?
No. I'm going like Birkenstocks.
Yeah, the slides you would have gotten a slide, but
Oh, I'll do the slides if necessary. But what's wrong? By the way, what's wrong with the Birkenstocks?
I guess
great look.
Birkenstocks is better. It covers your like almost your whole foot.
No, those are like the leather
talking
ones.
like the straps.
Yeah. I'm not
I know
talking
you're talking about the
like
traditional
thong
Birkenstocks,
sandals?
but-
No, that's okay. Thong is ridiculous because that's going in. It's pushing down the sock. That makes
pushing
no
the sock
sense.
down.
Birkenstocks, the leather ones, with
Yeah,
the
I know what you're
straps.
talking about. You can like see your heel and everything.
But he's talking about the sandal style of Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Kinda
Sandal
like a
style.
Chaco.
Catch me in Vermont listening to Grateful Dead with my high socks and my Birkenstocks. That kind of rhymes. Ariel, I need your help. You're in the gym. You see somebody that you went to school with but not spoken to in years, and you both keep seeing each other in the corner of your eyes. Do you go over there and catch up and say hello? Do you avoid at all costs? Or do you do the awkward smile and nod when you finally lock eyes? This happens to me all the time and causes me so much stress. Viva Helwani. I say just go, hey man, what's up? Long time no see. How you been? Everything good? Cool, man. What do you got there? 50 pounds? Nice. Well, see you later. That's it. Easy. Josh, hello, Ariel. Given the incredible amount of young talent in the UFC these days, it got me wondering which fighters will be the biggest draws in 5 years. What say you? Man, 5 years is a long time, by the way. Khamzat probably up there. I feel like Merab could be a champ. I feel like Cheeto could be a champ. Sean O'Malley. Bryce Mitchell could be a champ. Jamal Hill. Yuri. Shavkat. Rachmanov. Mateus. Gamrot. Those are some people. Valentina still probably be champion. Ariel, from Nick, when fighters win a belt, do they get to keep that belt forever? If there's a new champ, do they leave with the belt that gets put around them that night? How does that all work? Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. DJ back in the day wanted a belt for every defense because they used to do that. And then they finally gave it, they like shipped all of them to him. But they didn't for a while. Now they do the ruby thing. So it used to be that you get a new belt every time, believe it or not. Now they give you a little tiny ruby that you put on the belt. I'd rather have the 6-7 belts. That's way cooler if you ask me. But yes, it used to be every time you win. Now I'm pretty sure you lose because your name's on it and the rubies, you keep that one and then they give the other guy the new one. Big Moni, hi Ariel. I enjoyed the Valentina interview on Monday and then I started thinking. She mentioned that a move back to bantamweight could happen sooner than later. She's also said that she feels a little undersized at 35 but doesn't cut a lot of weight to make 25 as the current pound for pound number one. Do we think it's a possibility for her to become the 3-time champion in 3 different weight classes, 15, 25, and 35? Who is more likely to be the first 3-division UFC champion, Valentina or Cejudo? Gosh. I mean, you'd have to say Cejudo if only because he is... he's already won 2. He's close. But I think there's a better chance of them giving it to Valentina because the talent pool is more shallow at 15 and 35. I think Valentina has a better chance of making it happen, but Cejudo's currently further along. I haven't really heard her talk too much about 25, to be honest. I think she would like to do, 15. I think she would like to do 35 and 25. Sniffing out solutions, just a couple more here. Sir Schnoz, I need an answer from the majesty of the Menches himself. You are walking into a building in Manhattan. In the reflection of the glass pane, you notice an elderly woman with a walking cane approximately 35 feet behind you. She is staring at the ground and has not noticed you. If you are to hold the door for this woman, it will take approximately 12 to 16 seconds for her to reach La Abierta at her pace. There are no other people in sight. Are you bounding yourself to the awkwardness of this situation? Not awkward, I'm doing it. Or moving on with a wish for her best, followed by a besotted daydream of future endeavors with a butternut squash soup. This is an easy one. You're waiting the 15 seconds, no doubt about it. Robert Schmaltz. Hello, Ariel. It is because of your platform that many of us can say that we got in early on a fighter like Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. Oh, thanks for saying that. Other people have forgotten. Because of your show, we've been watching Paddy over the years through his ups and downs before landing in the UFC, watching as his star ascends. In fact, there was one time where I was doing a Wednesday audio-only show for ESPN, and I wanted to interview Paddy, and our good friend GC would appreciate this, and TST was like, who cares about him? No one cares about that guy. Now what you would all say about Paddy Pimblett, huh? Here's another early bird special for you. On May 20th, the Rotullo brothers, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Ty and Cade made their debuts at 157 in Singapore. The two 18-year-old phenoms thoroughly dominated their matches, showing they're all about pace, pressure, and execution. Ty got a submission finish over world beater Gary Tonin in just under 2 minutes. Cade dominated legend Shineoki. Great finish to win by decision. That move when he jumped off the thing was amazing. They are young, charismatic, and rightfully skilled in BJJ, wrestling, and striking. Any fans who are not paying attention to the Rotullo brothers absolutely should be. Both are looking to transition to MMA. They have the personalities and exciting styles that appear destined for legacy. Any chance of getting these guys on the show, brother? Lift their names into the lights like only you can. Here's the thing. There's a lot of people that we can have on. The reason I was drawn to Paddy was obviously the look, the personality, the fighting style, the accent. You got to have all those things to really grab people's attention. In the early days of their career, but I saw what they did. They're very impressive. They're on the radar. Okay, a couple more here. Antonio, hey Ariel, your aversion to texting with Android users is one that intrigued me every time it comes up. You are right in your explanation that it causes barriers between users, but only when they are texting. Yet you admit that you feel a complete lack of connection the moment you see that green bubble. This is true. Knowing that you are not the only person that feels this way, it made me wonder, does this obstacle of dealing with Android users keep people from pursuing other connections further as well? Say, if you started dating somebody new, will they lose interest at the sight of the green bubble? Or what about when it comes to hiring? The boss wants to group text, but Jeff replied via Android, so I'd rather not hire him. Does it reflect class? The haves own the new iPhone, while the have-nots have the new Galaxy, even though they cost roughly the same. I don't agree with that one. It seems to be deeply ingrained in iPhone users, while Android users wonder why nobody likes them. Can we all learn to love, or does the rest of the world just need to conform already? I will say the first two things you said, I am ashamed to say would probably creep into my mind. Ultimately, would it be the deciding factor? No, I don't think it's a reflection of class. And I do think that when I start talking to someone for the first time, so like the dating thing, it would be annoying. Now, luckily, my wife has a iPhone, but I would say it would be very strange. It would be very annoying. It would feel like there's a barrier. When that blue pops up, it feels like a door has opened into their soul. When the green is there, it feels like there's a wall. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Fabricio, in honor of Poppy Live coming to Sin City for International Fight Week, what are the 3 must-see areas / attractions in Las Vegas? I'm trying to see the Dana Dome, aka the Apex, but will they let me in? LOL, all the best. Well, there won't be any events there, my friend. So maybe you could drive up to it, but I don't think they'll let you in. I know they won't let you in. You should go to the Hall of Fame. You should go to the weigh-ins. You should go to the event. But I don't think you're talking about those in particular. I love the Cosmopolitan. I love Egg Slut up there. There's great restaurants up there. Walk up and down the strip. You want to go to the M&M World? Cool. You want to go to some of the restaurants? Cool. Go check out T-Mobile. Go to the MGM Grand. That's always fun. Mandalay Bay, fun if you're a longtime fan, although it's kind of off. It's a little bit out of the way. MGM is more on the strip there. But you'll just walk up and down. You'll have a great time. But I would go to those 3 things. I would go to the Hall of Fame. I'd go to the weigh-ins. And I would go to the event. And also that UFC X thing. I heard Kayla and I are going to have an autograph signing, so that would be fun as well. Mark Fee, hey Ariel, in 2021, Dana White kept mentioning how the UFC was looking at going to Africa in 22. Clearly that won't be happening, but do you see a scenario where the UFC hosts a show in Africa in the next 3 to 5 years? Yes. Steven, what's good, Ariel? Visited New York City for the first time this past weekend and stayed with my buddy who's just a couple of blocks away from Katz's Deli. Naturally, I got the matzo ball soup with half a Reuben, had to save some room for 2 plates of pickles. Wouldn't have gone in the soup if it wasn't for your heavy recommendation. Can't wait to go back and order it again. I hope you enjoyed it. While I was waiting in line, a man and his wife walked behind me to also get in line. As the orders progressed, I could feel them shuffling by me. Didn't know what to do or say because I didn't want to be the guy who calls other people for cutting in line. Why? I would do it. Looked up at the ceiling for a second, stood up straight, and it was my turn to order. My question to you and the whole team, how do you feel about the line cutters at restaurants, bars, stores, etc.? How do you deal with them, if at all? Peace and love from Central PA. I would say, yo, man, I was here. You say it in a nice way. Hey, I'm sorry. I was actually here. Sorry about that. I was kind of here. And then just be on your way. Don't have to get aggressive about it, but if you're waiting there, you're waiting there. Sonny, yo, Ariel, what are the top 5 things you would do in your first 100 days if you were a UFC president in an alternate universe? Please. P.S. Can you please say the following sentence? Jeez. Juan Wong, 111, won 1 fight in 1 FC 1 year ago today. Much love, your homie Sonny Chung. First 100 days, I would give the fighters their sponsors back. I would say, hey, Venom, if you're not happy about this, we can end the deal here. I'll pay you out. Okay, I'll pay you out. I'll buy you out. But I'm giving them their sponsors back. I'm instituting open scoring. I'm talking to Nevada right now. I'm saying, hey, what do we need to do? I want open scoring. I'm letting the banners come back for the sponsors as well. I'm upping the revenue share to 50-50. I'm asking the fighters how they feel about the 24/7 check-in system with USADA. If they're not happy, we talk about it. I don't know how many I'm at right now, but we could start with that. All right. Last one. Jesus Alvarez. Good day to you, Mr. Helwani. I've become an MMA fan over the last 2 years and have really grown to enjoy many aspects of the sport. I wanted to start off by saying thank you for the awesome job you do within the sport and appreciate the knowledge and historical aspect of your perspective. Most recently, you had Eddie Hearn on and asked him about being a father. I thought the discussion was quite insightful. I myself am a new father of 2 children, Mazel Tov, under 2 years of age, and find myself being intrigued with how other men are as fathers. I work in a 8 to 5 office job and often feel like I have very little time with my young family. This, of course, eats at me. From the type of questions you ask about fatherhood, it seems that you often battle with guilt of not being able to share all the moments you want with your children. Is the sacrifice of family time worth the reward of one's labor? Kind of a subjective question and not exactly an MMA one, but the exchange between you two regarding the matter was interesting. I wish the best for you and your family. Viva Helwani. Regards, Jesus A. or Jesus A., proud father and husband. P.S. I'd like to hear from NewYorkRIc and any other member of the show who's a father as well. Well, I know Alex is a father, a new father, and so that is very exciting. NewYorkRIc, as you heard, has left the building. Mysterious Frank, I can't speak for his situation. I don't think Yoon and Connor are parents at the moment. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I got to travel a lot in my early days, and I wasn't doing so as often as I was because I knew, at some point I'm going to become a dad and I'm going to want to be at more things or around my kids, especially on the weekend, which I look forward to greatly. But I'm very happy that I did because I want to travel less now because I want to be with my kids. And I could tell you when Eddie was saying that stuff to me, I was thinking, oh, wow, we're really different. I couldn't do what he does. I just couldn't. I would live with too much guilt, and I think I would regret it because ultimately it's more important for me to be there at this stage than it would be to put on events or go cover events. I am infinitely more happier at a Saturday afternoon soccer match, which I love attending and being a part of, than I would at T-Mobile for the biggest fight that you could possibly name. Would I love to be at the fights? Would I love to do that? Sure. But if you're asking me where I'd rather be at this stage of my life, I'd rather be here. Now, do I want to stop traveling, period? No. I like the way it is now, a couple months here, a couple months there. But again, full transparency, even when I was talking to Andy Foster about it, I was like, wow, do I even want to say this? Which I would do because of how little I enjoy traveling these days. That's how I feel about traveling. There was a time I always felt a little anxious about traveling. I'm a creature of habit. I like to be home. I like to be around my loved ones. I don't love change. I don't love moving. I don't love all those things. Even before I was married, I didn't like these things. It made me feel uncomfortable. That's why my time in Syracuse was so tough for me. But I did it anyway because I knew I had to do it. And I traveled early on in my career so much because I knew I had to do it. I believed in 80% of success was just showing up. So I'm very grateful that I did that. I got it out of the way. I was able to establish myself. And now, one of the reasons why I love the Wednesday show is I don't need to be at the events to maybe talk to these fighters. We could do it from here. Not because I'm anti-traveling, not because of the pandemic or anything like that. I just really want to be closer to home. And I love taking my kids to school. I love making their lunch. I love being there at night. I love being there when they're home from school. I love dinner. I love all those things with them. And the sporting events in particular, the activities. And so we're all different. And it doesn't make me a better father than someone else. It just, we have different perspectives. I would say your 8 to 5 office job obviously will preclude you from doing certain things, but I wouldn't feel too guilty about it. Everyone has to work. And the one way that I would sort of rationalize it to yourself is like, you are working for them, right? You are working to make their lives better. You're working to support them. That's a part of being a good dad as well. You're not ultimately being a good dad if you're just sitting at home and, playing video games with them. So it's a part of the deal, but you find the time, you make it happen. And ultimately, I think if you're a good father, you're supporting them in the best way that you can. For me, it's not being away every Saturday because, again, our job is to be away those prime moments, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that sucks. You miss out on a lot of things. I don't want to miss out on those things. In fact, I've turned down opportunities recently because I didn't want to go away. Some would say that I'm crazy for doing that, but that was a large reason why I didn't want to go to the Bills thing in Vegas. That's just the way I'm wired right now. When I get older and they're older, maybe I'll change my stance. But especially my daughter's 5, it's a really great age. Oldest son is 10, middle son is 8. Like I love being around them, and I just enjoy it. I enjoy being a dad just as much as I enjoy the work. I think some people enjoy the work more than being a dad. I think some people want to travel and be on the road and do all the things that come with that. And I'm happy with the way things are right now. But we all kind of figure it out, and you figure out what works for you and your family, and I'm sure it'll work out. The one thing I will say is don't beat yourself up over it. Don't get too worked up over it. Ultimately, remind yourself that if you're working hard and you're relatively close to home, you're doing it for them. They're benefiting from this. And so that's part of being a good dad as well. These are great questions. I appreciate you all. We have been here way too long today. It's been a fun day. Thank you to everyone who sent in the questions.